Rick James was blown away. He said not only was this girl bad, but she was super bad. Ooh, yes, I want to be super bad. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share, and subscribe because it is so important to my success here on the YouTube. And if you do not have a retirement and or investment plan in place through your employer, please check out the Acorn app below. Now, let's talk about Rick James' autobiography, Glow, Part 14. Okay, so I had a conversation with one of my very good supporters. I'm not going to mention her name, but she's one of my very good supporters in regards to my book recaps. And she had mentioned to me that maybe I should do Patreon. Now, I wasn't trying to do it because I was hoping that I would be more successful here on YouTube, but that's not the case. Okay, so I'm not saying I'm doing it right now, but I'm going to take a page out of Forest Rock's books and eventually put my book recaps over on Patreon. Now, I have Patreon loves already, but you can donate monthly $1 if you want to, but in order to be privy to the book recaps, you need to be at a minimum of $5 supporter. I'm not saying that it's going to happen right now or within the next 2 months. I'm just saying that I'm not really benefiting at all from doing these book recaps. And I'm telling you guys, that's my refrigerator. It's always signifying. But I'm telling you guys, it's hard work to read these books and then take notes and then figure out how I'm going to be funny and, it's just hard work, and I really do appreciate your support here on YouTube, but unfortunately, it's not financially beneficial to me, so I will eventually be putting them on Patreon. Here we are, and Rick James is working on his second album, baby. His second album is also co-produced by the guy named Art Stewart. He helped him out the first time. Remember when Susan DePassy was like, "Oh, Negro, you need to get you old good producer." Yeah, okay, yeah, you're a good producer, but you need to use a Motown producer, i.e. we need to keep money going in everybody's pockets. Okay, that's the way it works. At this point, this is where Rick James is talking about his horn section. Now, this is a little piece of information that I've learned along the way because not only do I read the book, but I also watch interviews from the past. And what Ricky James said was that his band, Stone City Band, was a makeup of several little bands. And the band that he talked about in this book in this section is the Punk Funk Horns. And the horns consisted of Danny Linnell and Norman and John Irving. Okay. Eventually, Rick James started calling himself the king of punk funk. He felt like it was a moniker that would stick. And it did. So here we are, we busting out on a funk. We busting out on a serious funk. So much so that Busting Out is a hit. It was such a big hit that Barry D. Gordy said, Ricky James, could you please come talk to me in my office? That is such a rare event, but, Ricky James, will you please come talk to me? Ricky James, come in the office. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What can I do for you, sir? Barry D. Gordy says, I need you to co-produce Diana's next album. Well, according to Ricky James, what he says is that because The Wiz was such a flop, Barry Gordy needed to come back with something strong because the audience was mad at Diana D. Ross because they felt like Stephanie Mills should have been Dorothy on The Wiz and not Diana D. Ross. Okay? I don't know. I don't care. I love Diana and I love Stephanie Mills too, but I'm just like, I don't think that it should have flopped. What was the budget was astronomical, Jesus, but I don't know. Maybe he thought because Lady Sings the Blues was such a hit that he could put that, zhuzh on The Wiz and it would work. No. They don't want to see a 26-year-old teacher I don't know, find herself. I don't know. Ricky James, he's so excited that he like, ooh, Barry Gordy entrusts me with his pet. Ooh. So anyway, Ricky James so excited, he like, oh shit. I'm getting ready to work with the boss. I need to go to the studio right now. And guess what he came up with? I'm just a sucker for your love. Hold tight, y'all, before y'all be like, hold tight. He presents it to Barry the Gordian like, look, this, I'm just a sucker for your love. This is right here for you, brother. This is right here for me and Diana. And Barry Gordy is like, okay, you're doing a very good job, brother. Listen, you know, I am so happy that you are working with these couple of songs for Diana on her next album. Ricky James was like, a couple of songs? I thought I was going to produce the whole album. No, bruh. You thought wrong. No, I can't have your raunchy ass working with my pet. Even though Donna Ross had been left his ass alone by now. But no, I can't have you, you know, Rickety D. Dick James around my girl too long. That won't happen. If she ain't gonna fuck me, she ain't gonna fuck nobody. Basically, Ricky James was like, I thought I was doing the whole album. Barry, wrong. Answer, no. What's going to happen is either you're going to take part of the deal or you're going to take none of the deal. Ricky James was like, well, I ain't taking none of the deal. I ain't your, you know, side chick. You ain't going to be treating me any old kind of way. Ricky James was so in his feelings about the situation that he went and found him some Diana, you know. Now, Diana ain't studying it no more, but she knows that, you know, Ricky James is old hothead, and she also know that Barry D. Gordy is still mad at her because she don't want to fuck him no more. So she stands down and was like, listen, Rickety, you must do what the chairman wants. Ricky James was like, fuck him. This is what Ricky James felt was ridiculous. He felt very insulted by this one because when the Boss album came out, it was written and produced by Ashford and Simpson. And I'm like, Ricky James, you mad about that? I mean, you are Ricky James, but goddamn it, you ain't Nick Ashford and Valerie Simpson, bruh. You know what kind of hits they produced for Motown, brother? You just got here. Sit your ass down. You know, eventually Rick James got out his feelings and he understood that, I'm not Ashford and Simpson. No, you're not, bruh. You're not. You Rickety James, Rickety D. Dick James, but you're not Ashford and Simpson. So he knew that he had a long way to go to get to that level. Okay. Now, real talk, RJ say, for real, I wasn't too in my feelings because I had another Motown singer that I was trying to work with. You know, flash. So here we go. We back to Teena. You knew that was Teena Marie. You knew the Motown singer that he was interested in was Teena Marie. I didn't know. I didn't know that she was already with Motown. I thought he found her and brought her to Motown. So one day he was at this place called Jabetti Music Company, okay? And that was the place where Motown did their publishing, right? Now, in that area, they had like practicing rooms, right? And one day he heard this voice coming out of a room. He thought it was going to be an old big fat lady. Not my words, his words. Okay, I don't listen. I'm BBW myself, but this is what he said. You know he reckless as hell out his mouth, right? So anyway, he said he thought when he peeked in the room it was going to be a big fat lady. Okay, no ma'am. It was a little woman that wasn't no more than 5 feet, and she was white. Oh, he was entranced. Oh my gosh, she sounds like a black angel. But she's a snow bunny. Ricky James sat his dirty dick ass right down beside her. What you doing here, girl? Little white girl with the piano that sound like a big fat black lady. What are you doing here? Teena responded, well, I'm doing demos for Diana and Thelma Hawkins. Okay. RJ asked her to sing a song, and her choices were Aretha Franklin and Etta James. Now, you know that nigga love him some Etta James. He been wanting to hunch on that material since he saw her, okay, when he was a little boy, all right? But he loves him some Etta James. I mean, then she went on to sing Smokey Robinson's Ooh Baby. Mistakes, you know I made a few, but I'm only human. You've made mistakes too. I'm crying. Oh, baby. Ooh, baby. Oh, if I could. Rick James was blown away. He said not only was this girl bad, but she was super bad. Ooh, yes, I want to be super bad. It turns out that Berry D. Gordy signed her a while ago and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on her, but nothing came to it because Berry Gordy was trying to make her into a pop star. Ricky James was like, that nigga don't know what he's doing. He needs to market her as a soul singer. Sucker for Your Love now belong to Rick and Teena in his top 10. Ricky James was so inspired by Teena that he wrote Deja Vu for her. Ooh. Listen, I don't know if him and Teena going to go into talk, how much he going to talk about Teena Marie, but Teena and him did go together for a while, but she said that nigga was a menace. You heard me. She said that motherfucker was a whole menace to her. He used to do a lot of things. When he can't get his way, he was terrible. So why, you ask, was Teena's face not on the album? Because let's not pretend. Guys, let's not pretend like we don't know, about the business. Well, all of us don't know about the business. But one, Ricky James wanted to create mystery. Two, he did not want to introduce Teena to the audience until he knew that the audience was madly in love. And we were. By the time Ricky James got on stage with Teena Marie down there to the Soul Train, I was like, that's Teena? Where's the big fat black lady? Maybe it's time to tour. And Ricky James hired a manager by the name of Shep Gordon. Now, Shep Gordon also represented Teddy P and Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper is like one of them Ozzy Osbourne people, and Teddy Pendergrass, This was after he left Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. But anyway, Shep won Ricky James over because Shep was from Buffalo. But eventually Ricky James fired his ass because he felt like, well, wait a minute, I'm out here doing all the work and this nigga ain't doing nothing. All he doing is overseeing. Anyway, on the way, he seen Teddy P perform. For some reason, he didn't like that nigga. I'm like, why don't you like him? Because you think he's going to get more vagina than you? I mean, he is a crooner. Don't the crooners get more vagina than the, funkers? I don't know. And because he thought that Teddy P felt like he was God. Child, can only be one God on earth, and that would be Ricky James only. This tour was called the Magical Funk Tour. Okay, He said the crowd went crazy when he lit the blunt and took a puff. He said, ooh, my constituents loved it. Now, the problem was that in this tour, the venues were not big enough to hold the crowd. So that was, a little setback, but it didn't matter. Now, at the end of this tour, he got a big fat royalty check, okay? Oh, yeah. He said it was almost $2 million. And this time, I guess he had to show his mammy that $2 million because she packed her shit until the earthquake. Them people on the East Coast. We don't know nothing about no goddamn earthquake. The one time we had an earthquake in the DMV, child, it was an old tragedy. You hear me? We don't know how to act with that thing. But anyway, when they experienced that one earthquake, everybody packed their shit and moved back to Buffalo. Okay. He is working on the Stone City Band album. And who did he recruit to work with the Stone City Bands was the Pointer Sisters. Let me tell you something. Them was some bad bitches. You hear me? Now, at first, it was 4 of them, but one of them died from a heroin overdose or something like that. And Rick James said he loved him some big, fine, chocolatey roof. He said every time that woman sang on the mic, he wished it was him, if you know what I'm saying. He said he'd be in the studio just looking at her, and his thing be, yeah. The single that the Pointer Sisters worked with Stone City Band with was called Little Runaway. Here we are welcoming in the 80s. And Rick James, his words, not mine, he say he is in a Ferrari and going like 1,000 miles per hour. Nothing can stop him, okay? But he looks up in his rearview mirror and he sees another race car right in back of him. Now, he can barely see the driver's head because the driver is so small. And what Ricky James says is that I wanted that little driver to join the race. I mean, everybody can eat. And plus, Ricky James admittedly said that, that poor little driver, he wouldn't have been able to catch up with me anyway. So he thought. And he ended this chapter with, I never liked that nigga Prince. Now, if you have not done so, please remember to like, share, and subscribe because it is so important to my success here on the YouTube. And remember this, the same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. Naysayers, my patron loves. Have a good one.